Good morning, Webb. Today, we're talking about a big step towards sustainability right here on campus. Over just 8 days, from November 7th to November 15th, our cafeteria's paper cup usage dropped from 6,000 to 3,700, and that number's still going down. This shift isn't just happening by chance. Students and teachers alike are making a conscious effort to cut down on waste. In fact, many teachers have led this charge by posting their ceramic mugs through staffs, showing their commitment to reusables and inspiring others to do the same. But what's driving this change, and how can we keep it going? Our reporter is on the ground with more information. Over to you, Tracy.
Understanding the psychology behind these choices are important, but so is creating the solution. To hear how Webb is tackling this issue, I spoke with Dean Rosenfeld, one of the key figures behind this initiative. I'm excited to hear about your efforts reducing the paper cups and promoting the sustainability at Webb, and I have a few questions to ask.
Please.
To start, can you share what specific strategies you implement to reduce paper cup usage at the school, and what actions or individuals did you take to make this shift?
Sure. I mean, the big action was an email. Is really what it came down to. Crafting an email that I thought that the community would bother reading, and creating a little bit of shock and awe, I guess, within it. And numbers have a real way of catching people's attention. 6,000 in a week is pretty shocking. And so opening up the conversation with that kind of surprising email was the first step, and then really it was about having those one-on-one conversations. Trick to it is having those conversations without utilizing guilt as a way.
Yeah.
So if I see someone reaching for a cup, not saying, really, you sure you want that cup? Don't you know what that's doing to the environment? But instead just kind of giving them a little nudge and asking if they happen to read the email.
That's true. Even for me, I stopped using paper cups after the email, so it actually works. And the second question is, looking ahead, are there any plans to expand this initiative to reduce waste in other areas, like around the campus?
That's a great question. At the moment, there isn't anything on my docket for that. One of the nice things is, though, just like with this interview right here, it seems as if a series of dominoes have fallen where other people are actually beginning to care more about what it is that we are doing in regard to our sustainable practices, or in all honesty, in some areas, the lack thereof. So one of the best things about my job is sometimes I can just introduce an idea or introduce a problem, and other caring individuals can go ahead and create an action plan for what it is we could do to, honestly resolve some of those problems.
Actually, we did a little bit of research about the decrease of the paper cups around the campus. It says from 6,000 decrease to 3,200, right? And how do you measure the success of the initiative, and how do you count those paper cups?
Well, and just, because I just had a conversation with Armando Amezcua, who runs our dining services, and our numbers are way below actually 3,200 at this point right now. We're actually, if I'm not mistaken, we're below 1,000 cups a week, which is phenomenal in regard to reduction. But could we do better? Sure. I mean, I would say that if we can drop it to 0 single-use cups, that'd be a good place for us to be in, but maybe unrealistic at this time. But as far as how I get those figures, by talking with Armando, and he does honestly, either he or someone on his staff does a count. They actually count every single cup that they have at the beginning of the week, and then they count every single cup they have at the end of the week. And so it's an arduous process. It's definitely time consuming, but it's an indication that this is something we care about.
Thank you. And also, as one of the dean on campus, do you think this effort will lead to a lasting change in student sustainability habits?
Honestly, not unless we have buy-in. Is really what it is. There's only a few of us deans and other adults around in the community who really care about sustainability and and what it is that we do and what it is hopefully we don't do anymore. but just because we care about it doesn't mean that everybody else does. And we're not the ones who are using the cups. And so one thing that was discussed was, well, why don't we just get rid of the paper cups entirely? But as far as I'm concerned, this is a school, it's an educational institution, and if we're not teaching, if all we're doing is restricting, then we're not really living up to what it is that we're promising the students here.
I agree with that. Thank you for having the time with us.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Do you think Webb students are committed to reducing paper cup waste, and what can be done?
I think yes, because I remember there was a time where Mr. R said we used about 7,000 paper cups, and we were able to lower it down to 1,000, so I think it's a good start.
Okay. Do you think Webb students are committed to reducing paper cup waste, and what can be done more?
Personally, I don't think Webb students are committed to doing it. I think people use them out of convenience. What was the second part of your question? I think I like that we, minimize the amount of paper cups that we're using, and I think if we continue to do that and we continue to use, reusable water bottles or the glasses that are available, then I think that would be helpful.
On camera. Can you please tell students committed to reducing paper cup waste, and what more can we?
I don't think any of the Webb students committed to using paper cup waste. I think that the major reason why we don't have that many cups being used is because there just aren't cups in the dining hall. So they did not commit. What more can be done is honestly if we just don't use paper cups. If the cups aren't available, people aren't going to use cups, so then we don't have that problem. Yeah.
Even with this knowledge, many students still choose to use paper cups over reusable ones. To understand why, I talked to Ms. Ning Zhen, a psychologist at the health center. Good morning, Ms. Zhen. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
To start, I'd like to ask what you think drives students to choose disposable cups, even when they're aware of the environmental impact.
So I think especially when you guys live on campus and when you go to a dining hall, it's more accessible that the disposable cups are just there and it's very easier to get it, even though you're aware of the environmental impact that will bring to, but you still it's really, you only make a decision in a short period of time. So when you make the decision, you will just get what you can, what is easy things to get. So yeah.
That's really interesting. Do you think peer behavior plays a role in how students make choices, like using the cups, since they see other people are using them and why shouldn't we can use them like that?
Yeah, sure. It's especially for students that are not very comfortable of confronting people's behavior, they will feel like if they're using that and they will not choose to confront them that, hey, you're damaging the environment, we should use a more sustainable thing. They will just follow everyone, just try to fit in the group. There are social norms and social norm will try to downplay the impact to the environment.
Yeah, I agree, because I kind of have the same reaction when I saw them. So also some people suggest that small incentives could encourage students to change their habits. Do you think this could work when it comes to sustainability?
It's pretty complicated. So if we use the incentive to encourage people to use more sustainable things, and when we stop the incentive, we will see a decrease. The behaviors will face a significant decrease because we take the incentive out. But I think it's a good starting point to try to putting incentive on and. For people who are aware of environmental impact but still choose to use the disposable cups, they will tend to look more on short-term gains. So align with that, incentive will be a thing to encourage them. I'd say it's half-half.
That's true. Lastly, do you think there are any other factors that influence students' sustainability choices that we haven't discussed yet?
Think of anything more right now?
Okay, I think we already know a lot of the mindset. So thank you so much for your time today, Ms. Jin. This has been a very insightful conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Tracy, for that in-depth look at Webb's efforts to cut down on waste. As we've heard today, reducing paper cup usage isn't just about numbers. It affects our environment, the way we think about sustainability, and even the people handling our waste. So, with the number of paper cups still going down, it's clear that small changes add up. So, let's keep up the momentum, whether it's bringing your own cup, using the reusable options available, or simply encouraging your friends to do the same. And if you haven't already, join the teachers, leading the way by showing off your reusable mugs through staff. And that's it for today's segment. Stay sustainable, Webb. Hello, Webb. Sorry. Okay.
Suit.
Wait, you can't see any other parts of my body, right? Just the suit?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
3.
Wait.
Please look. Sit straight. You can
I am
speak
straight.
slower.
Or,
3, 2, 1.